recently, the promotional material, the marketing for the Barbie movie has gone into overdrive. And while the marketing department has done a fantastic job getting this movie out there in a fun way for everyone to see, the cast of the film seems to be going out of their way to ruin it for everyone by overly intellectualizing their discussions about what the hell a Barbie movie is. No better way is this described, then we'll hold off on that, than in this interview with Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, in which they try to explain to this interviewer just what the hell about Barbie is feminist.
There's
right?
$20.
All right, go ahead.
Hobbit said, "Summon the asteroid, please. Life hurts. This part of the internet scares me far more than AI overlords and nuclear apocalypse.
That is.
I'm gonna go play Halo and Fallout and hide from these people, but not yet. You have to hear us talk about Barbie and why it's feminist."
It's definitely more like AI is definitely more frightening than Cherry Crush.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's watch the video. I'll put it on screen here.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch. Are we gonna watch the whole thing or just like the first couple of minutes?
We need to watch the whole thing.
Okay. Again, guys,
it's so insane.
I hate to.
The sewage just spilling out of Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie's mouth about this film. They clearly didn't know what to say.
The sewage.
It was just, it kept coming. Like, it was like crazy.
By the way, I see Bounding Into Comics in the chat. This article was written on Bounding Into Comics. So let's go ahead. Let's watch this clip. And let's just see how Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie explain the feminism in Barbie.
Able to be understood about the film in advance. Clearly Mattel still talk about it in slightly different terms to you two, but somehow, you know, they don't like to call it a feminist film. The actors seem very comfortable with talking about it as a feminist film, but somehow it doesn't matter that you talk about it differently.
Yeah, I mean, well, it most certainly is a feminist film, and I think that the sort of...
Can you explain that? Why? How so?
To me, it's like that's like one slice of the pie. Like it's so.
It's pretty big.
It's a big slice, but like I don't know. I know. I also wouldn't call it a funny film because then that discredits the fact that it's got a lot of heart and it's got a lot of emotion and it's got a lot of like movie references. You know, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, it is funny. That is a huge part of it. It's a comedy,
right?
But if you just call it a funny film, you almost make it sound like it doesn't have a lot going on, and it does.
Well, I mean, like this is sort of when we talk about this stuff, it almost sounds silly because you you start talking about Barbie and Ken and then you're having very serious discussions about Barbie and Ken.
Yeah,
but
it sounds silly because it is.
To whatever that sort of like, it's also a humanist film because it's like the humanity insofar as you can call it of like Barbie and Ken is what's paramount in the film. And at the beginning of the movie, you know, Ken is a person with no status in this world. So in this kind of reversed world, that person who has no status is in a completely untenable place long term.
Quite a brave decision too to give Ken such a big character in the end, to take him away from being the cipher that he's always been into a real thing.
Right, which is, you know, but that in that way, it's giving him, you know, humanity as it were, as a doll, as you know, whatever these kind of knots on knots that we have of the world of Barbie. But yeah, I mean, I also think I will say just the existence of this film in the way that it does is pretty incredible and is pretty, I mean, like when I think of it this sort of as it stands, I'm like, this is amazing that this movie is made, and it's made the way it is with Margot as a producer and a star, and and what the story is of the movie. It feels sort of unbelievable that it's been made. But I think it's also it's feminist in a way that includes everyone. It's like it's a rising tide lifts all boats version of it.
Yeah, I think some people hear the word feminism means that doesn't mean men, and I'm like, well,
it does mean men.
Anyone who believes men and women should be equal is feminist.
It's that simple.
But I think some people hear the word feminist and like associate a lot of negative baggage with the word. And
so what is it for you in the film? If you think, if you guys are comfortable, you guys, there I go, look at me, you know, if the actors, if all the people on set are comfortable, they get that the word belongs to the film. How so?
I think it belongs to the film because I think it's, when we were making it, the whole, Barbie is like an icon that, as Margot was speaking to, that it's both, she exists in the both and, not the either or. She's not either good or bad, or, you know, is that diving into the complexity of it and not running away from it, but like looking at all the thorniness and stepping into it, and also looking at all the thorniness and
it's all coming together.
What
James Lindsay would do a better job at this.
Of what women need to be, and how to give them something other than a tightrope to walk on, is how it feels feminist to me.
Is there more?
No.
Yeah, there's more.
Actually, when I got asked the other day, like, is Barbie a feminist? I was like, well, she's actually like the level up from that, because if you look at Barbie Land at the beginning, like the Barbies are on top and the Kens are kind of disregarded. So I was like, well, that's not equal.
No, right.
So
right.
whatever
Margot
the
is doing slightly better.
is actually Barbie's like. So towards the end, when they balance things out, then it might be feminist.
Let's read the two $20 super chats there.
Okay, we've got one from Rhaegar Targaryen. Literally, Kamala Harris could have given the same explanation. Or Jen Psaki could have been like, we'll circle back on that question. Let's just circle back.
She's 100 times better than Kamala Harris.
And then B Mafia 716 says, "I'm sending this just to stop the stupid of the interview." Thank you.
Look, I also saw a
they
chat.
just kept going.
I saw
and
a chat.
going.
I saw a chat earlier with somebody saying, "Brett, please make this stop." But I was informed earlier today that I paused the videos too much. So if I have to suffer and I'm not allowed to pause, then my friend, you all get to
We're gonna suffer through it
with us. Do you want to keep? Oh, we got one more.
We got another one from Dave Gazuli. Representation of women in positions of success is the least important part of actually getting women to succeed. The parts of society that actualize women to succeed have nothing to do with the sales of a frickin' doll. SMH here.
They're over-intellectualizing it. Do we want to keep going, or do we like again, guys? You can make this stop anytime. You just have to send $20 super chats.
I mean, we can show the rest. If they end up giving us an actual explanation, I would be shocked.
I will say that Margot Robbie did mildly better than poor Greta Gerwig, who seems to have no clue what she's talking about. Like I mean,
they just are like sweating bullets because they cannot say anything like, well, maybe it's just not that deep. Like, maybe there's no feminist message in the movie, and it's just a movie, and we enjoyed making it, and I hope that you enjoy watching it. They can say anything but that.
Maybe there's some female privilege here, because if Christopher Nolan gave that explanation for why, because his movies make no sense half the time anyways. I watched Tenet a bunch of times. It makes sense, but you get what I'm saying.
Interpreting this as charitably as possible from Greta Gerwig, she's saying that Ken in the Barbie universe, not in the real world, is, as a man, a sort of second-class citizen. And he's in an untenable position because he's not recognized as a whole person the way that Barbie is in the Barbie universe. So it's like turning the tables on men and women in the real world, because, you know, women are still treated like second-class citizens in 2023.
Yeah, God.
And they're, you know, Ken is kind of actually being oppressed in the Barbie universe. So it's like showing you the other side of the coin.
Now I don't want to see Barbie.
They're subverting expectations because
sick of
men are
things being
second-class
subverted.
citizens in the Barbie universe.
I'm fed up with subversions.
Yep, that's it's the worst thing that you can do now. Is like the only way to actually subvert something now is to not subvert it at all.
The funny thing is, like, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling themselves in all of their interviews have been so expertly media trained that they're able to market it so well, and they avoid these stupid questions and these like long form essays about why the movie is like this, you know, academic interpretation of like social dynamics, or here's the like deeper message of it. They're just marketing it as fun and superficial and visually pleasing, which is exactly what it was supposed to be and why everyone's going to see it, right? Like,
I would hope, yes.
And they can keep prattling on about why it's feminist and why it's actually, you know, putting the nail in the coffin of heteronormative gender ideals or whatever. They can keep doing that, and we can just pat them on the head and say, yes, that's great, dear. That's really nice, honey. And
How much
we can
money
just
did you waste on
enjoy
your
the
degree?
film for what it is. Right?
Like, do you think she was having flashbacks to some type of dissertation she had to give on gender studies?
She does press so often, like, you would think she'd have a better way of answering that question.
To be honest with you, I think there's some value in that statement. The idea that she is unprepared for these type of comments, considering it's 2023, and I mean, she should have a canned answer that is succinct and can get her from get her through that question.
4 sentences at most.
Yeah, in a clean way that does what it's supposed to do, and she should use that same answer every time someone brings it up. Because I tell you what, I've done a boatload of interviews myself. 99% of them are the same. Yeah. The same questions, the same stuff almost all the time. The ones that are good are the ones that seem like conversations where you don't realize you're answering the questions of the interviewer. Stuff like that, where it's Q&A, like, you should have a canned answer for probably 95% of the stuff they ask. You know what you're going to say. Then you can pepper in, like, stories that relate to the person or to the area that you're in or whatever to make them seem less pre-programmed, but you should have the basis of your answer for the vast majority of the questions they're going to ask.
I mean, maybe this shows that Greta Gerwig cares more about her movie than just giving it this canned appearance.
No.
It's, you know...
Disagree.
Like, if she can't come up with an answer for that question, maybe it means that she didn't make it to be a feminist movie, and now we can expect it to be good.
That's true.
She doesn't know why it's feminist.
That's true. It also is a good idea to have an answer for those kind of questions, regardless of how you made it, because that stuff is coming. It's like you're doing Barbie. Of course that stuff's going to come.
It'd be really easy to make up an answer like that. Like, Barbie has been attacked for being a misogynistic stereotype of a, blonde bimbo with no values or convictions. And we're tackling those criticisms in this movie.
She would have been better off just literally ask, because a lot of times they can ask ahead of time what the questions are, right? She should have just done that and just fed it into ChatGPT. And gotten
ChatGPT would do a better job at completing this interview for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask ChatGPT on air. Why is the Barbie movie feminist?
That's because the newest information would be 2 years old, so it wouldn't have access to the current year information about it. But I was watching it and I just felt
it's a humanist film.
And when she said high tides raise all boats, I'm like, now she's just saying stuff. That doesn't have anything to do with the movie. What are you talking about?
This is like when Mark Zuckerberg does he answers questions.
Yeah, but I also felt bad for her because she's out on an island there at that point. The interviewer's not cutting in to help, to be like, oh, you mean the interviewer could have helped her out a little bit there. I felt bad.
She had to keep asking the question over and over again because she was getting non-answers. But this is like when Mark Zuckerberg is in answering questions of Congress people, and he's like, I actually don't know. Next question, please.
Yeah. Or it could just be that maybe her answer isn't politically correct. Maybe she has an answer she doesn't want to give, but it's just not a politically correct answer.
They're too cowardly to just say this is a fun movie and that's all that it is.
I mean, I don't know if I buy that anymore. We're going to have to wait and see, but I'm not sure if I buy that this is just a fun movie anymore. I'm wondering if just the promotional department is at war with the writing department, and the promotional department just really wants to make it work, and the writing department just doesn't have a clue.
I think we should show the video of Miss Teen USA 2007.
Did you send? First of all, we got a $20 super chat there from Dave Gazuli.
Dave Gazuli said, to address the poll, anyone who calls Margot Robbie mid is right in the sense that she is a 10 in the midst of 5, 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s? What does that mean?
He's saying she's a 10 in a sea of 5, 6, 7s, 8, and 9s.
I agree with your sentiment, Dave. That one just didn't go over.
I liked it.
I liked it.
My brain doesn't work very well, so I thought that it worked for me. It worked in my brain. Did you send me the?
Yeah.
Is it? There it is. Okay. Yes. Let's watch this. Is this pulled up to a timestamp or is it just the whole clip?
The whole clip.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so.
This girl could have played Barbie.
Because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa.
Yes, Greta
and should
Gerwig.
help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
He's trying so hard
Wait,
not
was that
to laugh at
Mario
her.
Lopez?
Yeah.
Poor Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
Is
Mario
like,
Lopez is trying so hard not to laugh in this girl's face.
That was history making, man. Mario Lopez is a part of history.
Oh man, like she could have played Barbie. You're right. They could have had her play Barbie, and they could have confused pageant queen question Barbie, and that would have been great. I also wish we could have covered that there was a thing at the beginning of the year where apparently like a bunch of pageants,
U.S. Americans,
like a bunch of pageants were supposedly like rigged, like they were like the lady who won like doesn't look surprised, because they always have to feign surprise and then the other people have to feign like they're happy for them, and the ladies were not happy, and the lady who won was like, yeah, I won, and they were saying like she might have there might have been some trickery at play. And then now we have what was the one that happened recently where a guy won a pageant. The guy won
Miss Netherlands was actually a biological male.
Guy won.
Yeah.
And
I think I agree with Barbie. Math class is tough.
It is.
And interviews are even tougher.
Clip that. Like, that was great. That was fantastic. Look, at the end of the day, like, if you make an action movie, like Tom Cruise does not have to come out. Have you noticed? So the new Mission Impossible movie, right? Hold off on the $20 super chat. The new Mission Impossible movie. The new Mission Impossible movie is about artificial intelligence. That's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise isn't out here saying, well, the reason why the movie is important is because, that artificial intelligence
He's like conjecturing
it's an existential threat to the threat to America because like the thing. No, he doesn't say that. He just says, it's a fun movie. You should go see it. Stuff blows up. I ride motorcycles and I run fast. That's all you have to do. It doesn't need to be more than that. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.